What's up, and welcome to The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I, Quincy Dawson, interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities. Today, I've got Megan. What's up, Miss Hunter?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for being here today with me. You were actually recommended on Instagram from another teacher. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm so cool. I love the Instagram teacher community. So happy that they were able to recommend me.
Yeah. And we've got a lot of great things to talk about. So, let's just start, huh?
Yeah.
So, I teach high school physics, and being in the field and everything, you know that it takes a certain type of person to want to become a teacher, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
With me doing this for a couple years, at the high school level, I see that it takes a very special type of person to be an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
So can you tell me about that? Like, what made you be an elementary school teacher? What's up with that?
Okay, so I kind of fell into it. I always kind of wanted to go into nursing field. All in high school, I was in nursing programs, different things like that. But then when I actually got into the actual kind of the hands-on parts of being a nurse, I did not like gore or blood. So it was just too oozy for me. So then I decided, like, oh, I'm just going to work at a daycare. How easy would that be? And it wasn't easy. It was definitely teaching, but I just fell in love with the young preschool students. And I loved how they learned through play and how they were so excited about everything. And everything was so brand new to them. And I was able to give them some of them, like the first experience for a lot of things. So I worked at the daycare for a little while, and then I wanted to kind of explore more, a little older kids. So I started teaching third grade, kindergarten, and now I fell down into first grade. So
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, the daycare, third grade, kindergarten. How did
Yeah.
you know you wanted to be with like younger kids? Like, why didn't you try high school or anything like that?
Ah, I just always made a connection with the younger kids. Now, high school and middle school was maybe because personally, high school and middle school was very kind of like a hard time for me. So maybe it's just something within my own personal self. Like maybe I'm not ready to kind of explore that and go and teach older kids. I know I just take well to the younger kids. Now, I never tried to teach middle school. I never taught middle school or high school, or even had any type of classroom experience with them. I knew what I liked and I stuck with it. So
Mm, okay. So yeah, maybe by the end of this interview, I'll get to convince you to be a high school teacher.
maybe middle school is scary to me. I would do high school before middle school is like this weird time of their lives where they're just kind of coming into themselves. And I don't know if I'm ready to like handle all of these kind of
Mm,
issues yet. I don't know, but maybe
yeah.
I definitely like some of the middle schoolers at my school though. They're cool to talk to and we're making connections. So maybe more experience I have with them, I might end up teaching middle school science or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. But I could imagine the parents of those elementary school kids wanting to fight somebody if they knew that you were being taken away.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing I want to get into is so yeah, of course, I find you on Instagram, your TikTok page and everything, as Hey Mrs. Hunter or Hey underscore Mrs. Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one of your posts I want to talk about, again, you have really cool videos and interactive and stuff. But one of them talks about you being a confident teacher
Yeah.
and not letting negative people get you down.
What would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'm a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
That's like flawless though.
Yeah, I am flawless.
You're flawless? Okay, so like what, like let's be real this time. All right, so like on 1 to 10, like for real, like realistically, what would you rate yourself?
A 10.
A 10? Okay,
Yeah.
what about like a
So tell me
Yeah.
about that. Where did that come from?
Oh man. So teaching, as you know, it can be hard sometimes just with all the stresses of deadlines and then other people and parents. It's just a lot of outside factors. So when I wanted to become a teacher, I was just like, oh yeah, I love kids and I'm just going to work with the kids and the kids and the kids. But it's really a lot of other things outside of the kids too, right? You deal with parents, you deal with policies, you deal with principals, you deal with other teachers and adults. And sometimes that part of it for me can be the most stressful. So when I made that video, I was feeling down for the past couple of weeks, just not feeling confident. Other people kind of in my ear telling me that I'm not doing the right thing or I'm doing too much. And then I had to start encouraging myself, right? So I was like, I am a good teacher. I am confident. And so I made that video just to kind of like encourage other people, but then also I can look back at it and encourage myself too. So being a confident teacher to me, for me anyway, is just kind of knowing my why, right? Remembering my why. Why am I teaching? And am I reaching that goal? Like I have to keep that in my mind. Why am I teaching? And then am I striving towards that every single day and not letting outside people, other teachers or admin or parents or whoever, other thoughts get into my head and make me feel like I'm not doing everything that I can. So
yeah, and that's so cool that you did it that way, right? Because I think all teachers can agree that we all been in those slumps sometimes, right? I remember at my independent school I was at, I was really feeling that, right? It was the pressures of being like one of the only Black teachers there, teaching physics and all that with these students. And I just had to go back and read my mission statement that my teacher education program had us write. And I read that from like, at that time it was maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like, wow, this is the energy I had coming in. Like I need to find a way to re-earn this energy back. And yeah, so that was my way of doing it for a little more like the way for me. But I think your way is really cool where it's the video for you, but you also share that to other people too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I think that's a part of us too, being teachers. Like we don't just teach, like we just have a teacher mindset, right? And we want to, and a lot of other educators, we share ideas and we share and encourage each other. And that's what I like to try to do on my page too, like make each other laugh or say, oh yeah, me too. Or, you know, a lot of people say, you know what, I needed to hear that because I know I saw somebody else's page and they put something up. I'm like, you know, I needed to hear that. So thank you for posting it. If I could be that for someone else, you know, that's great.
Man, yeah, and that's great to hear. And it's funny, you would think that the way like some like news sources like say like things that teachers deal with, the pressure and stuff, you would think the phrase confident teacher is like an oxymoron, you know?
Right. Yeah,
it's like so much like outside stuff telling us this, but yeah, but it's cool.
And I've seen what teachers who are not the teachers, if you want to say, look like. And then I say, well, I'm not that. And I know in my heart, I'm not that. Like how you said, it takes a special person to teach elementary or middle school or high school. Just overall, it takes a special person to be a teacher. It's not, some people might go in a mindset like, oh yeah, I want to be a teacher, go through the school and then just think that it's something that it's not. It's so much more than just, I'm gonna teach you how to read and write and I'm gonna teach you physics. Like it's way more than that. Like you're taking on a lot, you know, and the kids start trusting you. You have to be a good role model for them. You don't have to work long hours, but sometimes you want to stay and go to the after school program because you're dedicated to it. You know, you can weed out the teachers who are dedicated and the ones who aren't. So it looks different, but you can tell. And the students can tell too.
Yeah, that's a big thing. Like I personally have, I find joy in like scrolling through the teachergrams and TikToks and seeing like who's about it, who's not. Yeah. I'm really judgy. I don't know. But yeah, do you consider yourself Instagram, TikTok famous?
No, not at all. No.
Why not? Why not?
Because the people who I look up to on Instagram, they just have so many like great resources and so many great followers and not saying that I don't have a lot of resources and things like that. It's just, they are really on it, you know, and there's teachers that are out there who don't have like Instagram fame and are amazing teachers, but I'm giving kudos to the ones who are amazing teachers and they have Instagram fame because that's like a whole nother job. Posting whatever, trying to find the algorithm, posting 3 times a day, making these videos. That's a lot on top of teaching, on top of being a great teacher and having these great resources. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah. I think the scary ones are those fantastic teachers who keep it all to themselves. Like, oh, you're dangerous. You're dangerous.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, but what made you want to even get into like the teacher specific videos online?
Oh man. I wanted to initially when I started my Instagram for like a teachergram, I just wanted to see other teachers. I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. I wanted to get ideas. I was tired of just kind of Googling like fun activities for phonics or something like that. So I wanted to start it that way. And then once I got deeper into it, I'm like, wow, this is cool. Then I gained more confidence. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll post my things. Maybe somebody might like this thing that I made up that I did with my students. And then it just grew from there and it became a great thing. So
Yeah, and it's really cool. I like your videos and your style of them and how you're like really encouraging and positive. You show like all your little black children on your children's books and everything like
yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
great. But I've been trying to get onto TikTok with like the teachers and stuff there. I think a lot of those teachers are mean.
Yeah. TikTok is a whole nother world. It's like I don't know.
It's
They are very mean to each other on TikTok.
oh, you
I
think mean to each other? I think they're
yeah,
like walking
or
that
to
fine.
the
Yeah, I think it's like a fine line of like showing what you do, but like mocking students at the same time. Are you seeing that or?
some of them I do. Yeah, but
Yeah.
TikTok in general is like that. Like with parenting and relationships and teachers, it's like that's kind of sometimes the theme of TikTok. Sometimes, but everybody falls into different sides. Like you can be like happy teacher TikTok or mad teacher TikTok, or
Yeah.
that's,
Mad
yeah,
teacher TikTok. That's
yeah,
that's a
don't
scary place. I don't like it there.
don't get out of mad teacher TikTok, bad teacher TikTok. Don't do
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. But maybe getting more back to you, right? So you talked about your experience going from nursing to the daycare or preschool, I'm sorry.
It was preschool, pre-K.
Preschool.
Yeah.
Okay, from there to like the actual school system. But how did you get to like the teaching? Like, can you tell me about your teacher education program and what you did there?
Yeah. So I started at the University of Akron. Akron's just a city in Ohio. And I was like, well, maybe I didn't think big picture, like, oh, I'm gonna teach out of school. I was like, maybe I can just learn more about what I'm doing with pre-K students. I want to learn more, how how do they learn? How do their little brains work? What can I do best to help them? So I went to the University of Akron and it was like a associate's degree, like a teacher prep for your associate's degree. And once I was there, they just taught you just like kind of like a lot of learning theories that I didn't know, like children like Piaget and like those type of things. And it really sparked my interest. I was like, yeah, kids do that. Yeah, and then we got to explore other daycares, and then we got to explore actual schools and kind of go in there and start working with them. And I really loved it. And then I did graduate from there, but I wanted to do more. I graduated from there and worked, with preschool with my associate's degree. And I knew more for myself. And I felt like the more I learned and the more I knew about how they learned, how little ones, 4 and 5-year-olds minds work, the more I can help them. But then I wanted more. I was like, I did that for a couple of years and I was like, I want more. So then I went back to Cleveland State University. I went back to school to get my bachelor's degree.
Hold on, Megan. You said you
Mhm.
wanted more in terms of like teaching you how to teach, or what do you mean you wanted more?
Okay, so where I was at specifically, I felt as if curriculum wise, people around me, when you think of pre-K, a lot of people don't think of like they're actually learning, we're actually teaching them. It's more like, oh,
Mm.
I'm picking them up. And I'm like, no, like if you guys know like what I know, they're really learning. And I really want to teach them and show them how to do these things, because when I get to kindergarten, first grade, they'll be prepared, they'll be ready. Their minds are right now ready to do this. Like they pick up on so much. And I didn't really get some support.
Mm.
The curriculum wasn't what I thought fit with my way of what I thought how students should learn. So I was like, well, maybe if I get out of this like pre-K world and get my bachelor's degree with my teaching license, I will have more range, right? So maybe if this isn't fitting, I can teach first grade, I teach kindergarten, I teach third grade, and see where my sweet spot was, right? Because I knew I just wanted to be able to get into some more, what do you call it? I don't want to say more curriculum, more in-depth learning.
Yeah.
So I went to Cleveland State University, and from there we had our teacher prep program. So they taught me even more. I had to get a portfolio, and it was a lot of requirements. Like I had to spend a lot of time in actual schools with third graders. Well, I didn't go past third grade at that point. I was like, oh, maybe I'll stick from third and go down. I did work sometime in the fifth grade classroom too. And it just gave me a lot of experience in what I like. So I felt like if I didn't want to be a teacher, that was the time to leave, but I liked it. And I taught at different types of schools, like rural areas to learn, city, inner city, suburbs. So it really gave me a wide range of what do you like? Where's your sweet spot? And it taught me so much. And I met a lot of different people too. So
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I really like my teacher education program too. But that thing you're saying about wanting to get more and get more, right?
mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of things that just can't be taught in the program, right? You got to experience it, right?
Absolutely.
Like for me, I think one thing is like learning how to do things that aren't teaching, right? Like how do I move up in the field? What do administrators do and everything, right? But I think it's more like a teacher education program is like or the education degree is so specific to teaching, right? Like it doesn't like get you stuff outside of the classroom, right?
Yeah.
So maybe asking you, what are some things that maybe you didn't get in your education program? And then I want to talk about things that were really useful that you got.
Okay. One thing that I felt like just off the top that I didn't get is how do I speak with families about their students? Like I have parent-teacher conference. I was like, oh my God. Like I had just had so much anxiety talking to parents about their kids. Like I was scared and I didn't know, let's do a grow a glow or, like do those type of things. I just kind of blurted things. I just wasn't prepared. I'm like, oh my God, my first year teaching, those parents probably hated me because I wasn't showing them. I was showing them maybe that I wasn't prepared to talk to them, or I just didn't feel prepared to talk to parents. Even with a behavior issue, if I saw a child sleeping and I saw a change in their behavior, how do I do this? How do I address this? How do I find out more about you culturally, or just more about you and your child and your family without saying, so do you go to church? So what I don't want to be so blunt, but how do I find out more about these families that I'm serving and the children that are in my classroom without being offensive or, so that was very hard for me. And I don't feel like they prepare me for that at all. Prep program.
I want to get more into that, but first, can you tell me something that was really useful that you got from the program?
Something that was really useful was just me being able to get the hands-on experience. They really give you a lot. Like your first year, you're already in there just for a certain amount of hours. But I think when I first started, I was so nervous just to go in a classroom and sit down and, write notes and see how the teacher was doing. And then they kind of gradually like, okay, the second year, you're not going to full out teach, but you'll maybe write a lesson plan and teach a small group. And then the third year, it's like, okay, so maybe you'll do a practicum. So you'll teach half a year. So you'll teach maybe science and social studies, and then the mentor teacher will teach the rest and be there to support you. Then the last year, you fully take over and teach it. So it helped me grow and get more comfortable and find my voice with teaching students, because a lot of time I was scared, like, okay, guys, let's, but then by the end, I was very confident, and that helped with classroom management too. So that was the hands-on experience with the students in the classroom, not just, okay, I'm taking notes and I'm learning about it, but I'm in there and I'm seeing how they work and I'm seeing what works, what doesn't work, what works for this teacher might not work for me. So that really helped me. So
Yeah, that's so cool you say that, because like every teacher has it, but like, where do you learn that teacher voice? You know, all right, I need everybody listening. Where did you
Yeah.
learn to talk like that? That's so funny, but
Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah, just from experience. And they kind of drive it out of you, because if you don't have a teacher voice, they're gonna know, and they're gonna
Yup.
you have to like get it right now. You know, you just have to get it, or they're gonna run over you, kind of, if you don't have your teacher voice, you know. Well, some of them.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. But yeah, going back to things you thought were useful and things that you wish there were more of, I'm comparing that in my head to my program. So my program was a master's education program, right? And so with that, we did get the experience with talking to parents, because part of our assignment was we had to visit the houses of like 5 students and like write like a full write-up about like what we learned from their families and stuff. Super scary in the beginning, but like super useful also.
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah.
I would love to have done something like that. That was great.
Right. And something I would have loved in your program is being more eased into it. Right. Because I feel like I took from what? Literally the summer, from May to like August, of classes. And that August, I'm in there.
I'll just kind of threw into the
Yeah.
woods.
I mean, I had a master teacher, but like I was like the teacher of my 2 classes, like actually, but I really wish I was eased into it through like a year or 2, but that's really interesting.
That was the best part about it. It made me feel more confident by the end. Like, I can do this. I got my little experience. I can do this. So
yeah. Okay. Miss Hunter, to wrap this up, can you tell me your favorite teacher moment? You got elementary school kids, so this should be, I know you have a lot.
So many. Oh man. Okay, so a lot of times students humble you. So you might wake up in the morning feeling like confident, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna change my hair, or I'm not gonna wear makeup today, I'm gonna go all natural type of thing. And the one day I did, I normally, you know, I just put a little foundation on and stuff like that. But I was like, no, I'm just gonna wash my face and throw some, you know, and just throw some lip gloss on and call it a day. Like, whatever. They're 7, 8, they don't care. Like, you know, I walk in immediately when my students come in, they're like, oh my God, what's wrong, Miss Hunter? Have you been crying? Are you tired? And I'm like, no. And it was like, oh, you just don't have one any. I'm like, I'm fine. Are you sick? No, I just didn't put any makeup on. Oh my God. I was so like, the things that they noticed, I was so humbled. Like, oh my God, I thought I was kind of cute. But it's just like
Dude, Megan,
the smaller kids, and that's a different thing. Like, I think older kids would know, like, oh, I'm not going to say anything that might hurt her feelings. But the smaller kids, they notice every little thing about you, every little detail. Like, if I have a middle part and tomorrow I have a side part, I'm like, oh my God, you changed your hair from a middle to a side part. So that was one thing. And it was like my favorite teacher moment, because for one, I noticed that they noticed me. Like, they noticed me, and then 2, I noticed that, wow, they were really concerned that I looked different. You know, I tried to flip it to a positive, but then I laughed at how blunt they were, how honest they were of how I looked. So I was like, wow, I'm humble. So I have to come on my A game like every single day for you guys.
Man.
You 4-year-olds who still has like spaghetti still.
Yeah, right. Like you,
not your teacher. They said such a, and I think all students, they look at their teacher with such high expectations, and they look at you so highly. In my experience with my younger students, no matter if they're in kindergarten all the way up to 3rd grade, like, they look at me like, Miss Hunter, you know, like, you are my teacher. Like, they really love that. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. They just hold me to such a high standard. And so that keeps me going too. So, like, my kids need me. I can't slack. I can't not wear makeup, apparently.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Yeah. I like that, Megan, how you flip that to a positive, right? Yeah. I mean, we need it.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Hunter, thank you again for sharing all this. your insight on how you learned throughout your teacher education programs, your transitions from the preschool to the elementary school system. They're all reasons why I think you're one of the greatest teachers of all time.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me and giving me a chance to talk about my experience.
Yeah, of course, of course. Thank you to everyone else for watching The Greatest Teacher of All Time, where I interview teachers of color to highlight their philosophies, strategies, and personalities.